Okay, so here we are, and I'm about to begin a workout. And the whole point of me recording this is so you get an idea of what it is exactly that I've been doing. Now, as you know, and if you follow me on Facebook and so forth, I just hit the 40-pound mark. So I've lost 40 pounds down. I'm going from 230 to 190. Now, of course, a few months back, everything started to settle down. This is September, and I would say probably June or July, everything started to settle down with my weight around, I would say, I guess, 190, between 194 and 196, right in there, around 195. So I knew then, after about 2 months of it kind of lingering right there, that I had to implement working out as part of my daily routine, or I should say every other day, because that's what I have found works for me. Everybody's different, but working out every other day seems to work for me. Now, so far so good. Now, with the exception of the last maybe week and a half, I took a little bit of time off because I had a sinus issue thing going on, so I felt a little sick, had a little temperature, that type of thing. So to explain this, as far as when you shouldn't work out, and there are times, you don't need to work out when you're sick. I've heard different research about this and different studies, but from what I can see, if you're sick, then, and my belief is this, it's going to run you down. You don't want to run yourself down in the middle of you being sick. Some people think that it's actually going to push the sickness out of you, and that's not necessarily so. Sometimes it's going to cause more detriment to you than anything, and you don't want more detriment to your person or to hurt yourself because you're already sick and you're trying to recover. So before we get started, and I probably won't do very many exercises with you today, but just a few, just to kind of give you a glimpse. And I do have a workout list that I will show you. And of course, if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, you've seen it. But there's a few things you want to need, or you want to need a binder, a list, because this is where I keep my master list of exercises right here, all 25 of them, and I'm getting ready to add a number 26. I have a special system, and I'll try to explain that to you. In my head it works, in yours it might not, but I feel like for a long-term, lifelong type of working out, I feel like this is a good trajectory to be on. I also have inside of this binder a sheet, basically a sign-in sheet for every time that I work out. So starting August the 20th all the way until the last time I worked out, which was September 10th. Now today is September the 21st, so like I said, about a week and a half. I really went into this saying I'm not going to see results automatically, and that's important. You don't want to go into whatever you're doing. You want to look at this as a lifestyle change. If it's not a lifestyle change, it's not going to work for you. So as for me, I had to say, I'm doing this permanently. I want to do this until I die, basically. And not just to look good, not just to look better or feel better, but because of health. And here's the thing, one of the things I do when I work out, and I make a proclamation to God pretty much and say, hey, look, Lord, I'm doing this for you. This is to bring you glory. It's not so much to bring me women and this, that, and the third. Or to make myself buff. It's so, hey, when I die, I want you to be able to say, hey, dude, you did a good job with that body of yours. Because it's almost like this. It's just like having a car. You have to do oil changes and maintenance and so forth. And then when it's time to get a new one, or whatever the case is, you can say, I did a terrible job or I did a good job. The only difference is with this, we only get one of these, and it's a temporary thing, and it don't last but 90 years if you're lucky. So, I look at it like that. You want God to be able to say, hey, dude, you did a good job with that, or hey, girl, you did a good job with that. So, anyhow, like I said, these last 30 days or so did bring me down to the 190 mark, which is fantastic. So the working out does help. and it has helped tip me down some more and get me out of that stagnancy with the weight. So anyhow, there's a few other things that I want to mention. Usually I have music blasting, not necessarily blasting, but I do have music going. Something fast, something fun, something you can enjoy, whatever suits your taste. I usually do that, and right now I'm not, for the main purpose of you being able to hear my voice. So there's a few other things that I want to mention. You want water. It's kind of like, duh, you need water, okay, when you're working out. These are, I call them weightlifting gloves, and I imagine they've got a different name, and I can look up the link if you would like. I bought these from Wish.com. I actually have two pairs. I have one pair that I take to work with me and one pair that I have here at home. Because, you know, in one of my jobs, it's a retail job, so we also have trucks, this, that, and the third, sometimes lifting. But the way this works, it goes on your wrist like this, ties around like so, and then you have that. I wear these when I work out because it really gives a lot of great stability to your wrists. And the truth is, like for me, I have had tendonitis before and things of that nature. So, you know, if you're lifting weights and doing stuff that involves your wrist, push-ups and the dips I do between two chairs and stuff like that, you really want to have a pair of these gloves. It really helps support your wrist and keeps that pain away. Another thing is a weightlifting belt. Now, I have back problems. Not major, but I should say back pain. So with that, I bought this several years ago. Now, just to show you, is, and you know, we talk about weight loss and so forth. You usually wear it kind of right around there. You want it kind of right at your belly button, and you definitely want it supporting your back. That's the biggest thing. So anyway, just to show you this, and this is pretty cool. If you look at this, and hopefully the camera can catch this, before, and when I first got this belt, probably about a year and a half ago, I could only loop it right there. Now I'm able to loop it right here. That gives you an idea of the change, especially considering diet and now working out. Now the diet has not changed. I'm not changing that diet. And it's not some, oh, you know, I've just got to suffer. No, it's not about that. It's just making good lifestyle changes. That's all it is. Now, I'm going to take this off because I'm about to do my stretches. And all in all, the first thing you want to do is you always want to stretch before you do any type of working out. And to go into further specifics, there's several things I do when I work out. I start out by stretching. After stretches, and I've got a list of stretches, it's in my head, I don't have them written down. I have them memorized from high school, honestly, and I'm sure they all have names. You know, I don't have all that, but you can Google it, I'm sure. Or just kind of memorize it as I tell you. And there's other stretches you can do, and so forth. So, anyhow, I start off with stretching, and I end with stretching. After the stretching, I do a little bit of cardio, and basically running in place. That's all it is. Run in place. I usually base it off of whatever song is playing. So sometimes I'll run a minute, sometimes I'll do 2 minutes, and I have a clock back here. So a lot of times I'll look at my clock, and if it's say right now it's 6:44. So if I start right now, maybe I'll go for maybe 2 minutes of just running in place. Then I always take 1 minute at least to cool down after that. Okay, so, and that's important because you always want to have a little bit of time after you really exert your heart rate to just kind of cool down. And I do that at the end of my workout as well. So stretches, cardio, then the workout, cardio, then stretches, and that's it. All of my research has said it's good to stretch before and after. Especially after, I mean, obviously before, because it helps you from injuring, it keeps you from injuring yourself. but afterwards it actually resets your muscles, which makes it takes away the pain, and it reduces injury from stuff you may do after your workout. So anyhow, and so I'm going to go through very quickly the stretches, and we'll just kind of go from there. Like I said, I'm probably not going to do an entire workout for this video. This is just enough to kind of get you started and just kind of show you what I'm doing. And of course, like I said, I'll give you the list of workout exercises and probably go down that list over time, so that way you can look at my particular list and say, maybe I should try that. And that's really what it is. I see stuff here and there. One of the exercises that I am adding is one that I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger do yesterday, and it's called the vacuum. And so just like something like that, I'm just going to add that in, so you're going to find stuff here and there that you're going to like and that you're going to want to do. So here we go. So stretches. So you can call this maybe a crossover, I guess, but you want to do this. You want to hold your arm. It's best to hold it about 10 seconds. Or so. Most of the time I just count in my head. To me, it's not hugely important that it's 10 seconds. Most of the time I kind of still do that after the stretch. But yeah, and like I said, there's going to be a little bit of dead silence here, so you're going to have to listen to me talk, because I don't have music like I normally do. And so, same thing here. A lot of times I'll go down like that and come back up. Still holding it close to 10 seconds. Do the same thing with this arm. Go down. Open. A lot of times I'll do something like that. Come out like this. And then come down like that. Go behind yourself. And I felt myself pull like right here. So even a week of not working out, I could feel the pull just from stretching. So that should give you an idea, like I said, it does put you kind of back a little bit, especially if you're trying to make progress. But like I said, if you're sick or whatever, you want to take some time to heal up, not just keep bashing yourself and bashing yourself. Here's the other one I do, which is one kind of like this, and then up like so. Sometimes I'll do like a little, kind of like a Hulk Hogan type thing, but you want to have some resistance when you do that too, like you're yawning and stretching, in the mornings or something. But you really want to pull, when you do that. The other one I usually do is kind of like in my hips and back. I'll go forward like this, sometimes down into a little bit of a squat. You probably can't see it all that good on the camera, but kind of go down to a squat like that, go back like that, side to side, and sometimes do a little of this. Basically just enough to kind of loosen you up in here. That's really the idea. And then from the back of your leg, you want to hold your leg up like so. You'll find yourself holding your balance very well after a while. And it's funny because, like, I remember in high school especially, kind of bouncing from one leg to the other, sometimes like that, like a pogo stick, and just silly stuff. Anyway, so that's the stretches. And then you want to do some cardio. So just run in place. Just run in place. Nothing extensive, nothing crazy. It's 6:49 right now. So I'm just going to run in place until 6:51. And now the walking afterwards, I don't have a huge workout area. I have my bedroom, basically, is what I use. And there may be some other stuff I try eventually. But like I said, once you do this cardio, you're going to walk. Just walk, pace back and forth. Not necessarily high intensity, just enough to kind of let you come down. There we go, 6:51. So now we want to pace. We want to just kind of come down, relax just a little bit, okay? And usually while I'm doing that, I'm looking at my book to see where am I at on exercises. And I have this system where I want to do 10 sets of 10. That's starting off. And after that, it'll be 10 sets of 11, I think. I think that's what I came up with. And maybe I'll even do 11 of 11. I don't know. But that's the idea, because these exercises, I want them to be so easy to do that I've conditioned myself for them. Basically, I've conditioned myself. So, and I've noticed, like with sit-ups, when I do my sit-ups after doing this, it's so much quicker now for me to do my sit-ups. So, I'm going to show you just 4 exercises, basically. So, I've always called them bicep and tricep curls. Of course, your bicep is this muscle right here. Your tricep is underneath the arm. Now, truthfully, the tricep curl that I do, really, it does, I've never even felt any stretch under here. I usually feel the stretch more in here, in this muscle, which I have no idea what it's called. But it's pretty nice, you know, when you work it out and the veins are out and that type of thing. It's nice to have. So, basically I call them bicep curls and tricep curls. Whether it's accurate or not, take or give. But the first way I do it is without the weights. And so without the weights, you want to have some resistance, basically. I'm going to go ahead and put my weight training belt on, because I am going to pick up the weights here in a second. And for me, I have 2 25-pound dumbbells, and that's what I tend to use. So, just to show you this. So, and you want to have resistance. You want to create resistance. So, I do 10 repetitions. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically you're flexing your muscles. That's what it boils down to. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm going down like this, okay? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's without the weights, and you can kind of see even here, like it's, I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but it definitely pushes, you know, that muscle right in here in particular. So now I'm going to pick up the weights, and we're going to actually use 25-pound dumbbells and do the exact same exercise. So one is kind of like almost like a resistance type stretching exercise, where it really flexing your muscles, and the next one is actually using the like I said, we're just going to do these. I've already did these 2 exercises: bicep, tricep curl, this way, that way, and now we're going to do it with the dumbbells. Start with the bicep curl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you had 10 there. And it's always good to kind of stretch it out afterwards. After that, do our tricep curl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those are 4 exercises I do, and all of which involve the upper body. And then, like I said, considering the fact that you stretch, run in place, and cool off at the beginning and end of the workout. Like I said, this is what I do. At the beginning and end, you want to factor in about a good 7 minutes beginning and end, or at least 5. 5 at the beginning and 5 at the end. That gives you about 20 minutes of working out on these various exercises like I have listed in the book. So, anyhow, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that's a little bit helpful. It's a little bit of something, but you know, for those people who keep asking me, you know, how you doing it? Da, 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 da. This is it. And like I said, I'll share this list with you as well, just to kind of give you an idea. Okay, thank you so much. Very briefly, I would like to do a quick overview of my master workout list that I mentioned. First, we do stretches, as I mentioned. Second, we do the cardio, which is, for me, it's running in place. Then we want to do 1 minute at least of cool down, usually pacing kind of back and forth. So on this list, we have 26 exercises. The first are back exercises. Now, I actually have a list that my doctor gave me of these back exercises, and I will try to share that with you at a later time. It goes into great depth, and I just go down that list over time of back exercises. Push-ups, number 2, push-ups inclined. Push-ups inclined basically is where you put your feet up on a sofa or a couch or a chair, and you let your arms touch the floor, and you do a push-up with the lower part of your body inclined. Then there's number 3, which is push-ups decline, which is like a regular push-up basically. Number 4 is squats. If you don't know how to do a squat, go Google it. It's super simple. Number 5, run in place. So, of course, I do sometimes do an extra amount of running in place to get even extra cardio. I've included it as an extra actual item in my workout. Number 6, jumping jacks. Number 7 is calf ups. Calf ups basically is where you go up and down on the balls of your feet, kind of where you go on your tiptoes. Number 8 is something I call Elvis stretches. Now, if you've ever watched Elvis Presley in a live concert, any of the footage, then you'll know what an Elvis stretch is. And I will include a photograph, hopefully, in this video so you know what an Elvis stretch is.
Oh, don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love too much. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love too much.
Side-to-side kicks. I would probably have to demonstrate that, but it's basically a high kick going to the side. And you want to do that on both sides, and you want to do it equally. High kicks is more so in front. It's like a kick up in the air in front of you, one leg at a time. Number 11, sit-ups. And I say sit-ups behind, basically because you have your hands behind your head. Number 12, sit-ups in front. So you have your hands crossed across your chest, and you're doing those sit-ups. Sit-ups by side, or side by side, I should say. It's basically you have your arms behind your head, your elbows poking out, and you move your legs inwards, and you actually go adjacent. So your right elbow will touch your left knee as you come in for that crunch. 90 degrees is where you bring your feet, your legs, you basically go into a semi 90 degree angle. And you
have your arms crossed across your chest. So you're doing a crunch while you're bringing your legs up, basically. Number 15, 16, 17, and 18 are the arm curls that I mentioned in the video. So you have the arm curl for the biceps, arm curls for the triceps. That is just almost like a stretch, as I mentioned. Arm curls with the weight, so you have biceps and triceps, of course. Number 19, I just called an Elvis dance, which is basically another reference to Elvis Presley. And, you know, if you've ever seen him move, you know he was pretty active on stage. So basically, just jiggle around a little bit, dance around, have some fun, you know. Just do something fun, you know, and that movement creates a very good workout. One of my doctors actually said that there was a lady who lost close to 100 pounds, I think, or something like that, just by dancing 30 minutes a day. So it really does have an effect. Number 20 is in between two chairs. It's basically a dip. You hold yourself in between these two chairs and dip downward. I'm pretty sure you could do that with something other than chairs. If you have maybe two sets of steps and there's just enough space in between. You know, there's different ways you can do that. There's one I call the bat wing, number 21. The bat wing is with weights, and you basically take your weights and you open up your arms facing outward like a bat. So you think of Batman when you think of that. Number 22 is up in the air with weights. Basically, you take the weights and in both hands simultaneously, you go up above your head, straight up and then down, up above and then down. Side to side punches. Think of Rocky, you know, or Muhammad Ali. Just kind of do a little shuffle with your feet, you know, and then you punch. And then you punch the air, basically. It's just a little something. It's a little bit of cardio, and it also exercises your arms and your punching. Number 24 is high leg lifts. High leg lifts. And basically that's like almost not necessarily running in place, but you're bringing your knee up as far as you can. And in that same type of technique. Number 25 is the twist. The twist, Chubby Checkers. If you've ever seen him or heard of him or listened to the song, you know what the twist is. Basically, you do the twist. It's pretty simple. If you don't know, Google it. The vacuum. The vacuum is something that a lot of weightlifters do. I was introduced to this yesterday, as I mentioned, by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was an interview, and he said this is great for your posture. And you know, for men, and his point was that men typically get lazy. They just let it all hang out. I mean, we already are vulnerable in our guts. But if we do that vacuum and suck our stomach in for a certain amount of time, and I just tried to do it as I'm speaking, and you know, it hurts a little bit. You know, you do that, and you kind of program your mind to work on your posture. So you're not slouching, and not only that, but your stomach takes a better form, and your upper body takes a better form. So that's the whole point of that. Now, that is my list of 26 exercises. Let me try to explain very briefly how I'm doing this. At the top of that list, it says 10 reps by 10 days. I may change this as I go forward, but the idea is literally, you know, in these workouts, I check off what I do. And the idea behind this is to condition myself. And in doing so, this is like a lifelong type of workout. It's for longevity. It's not so much for me to become like Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody. You know, I don't need to look like Hulk Hogan or somebody. You know, it doesn't need to be necessarily like that. But just for general health, you know, this 10 reps by 10 days, basically do like it. Look at number 1, for instance. I've already done 5 of those back exercises, and I've got 5 more to do. And so I'm doing that each time. Do I do this entire list every time I work out? No. On average, I do between 8 to 15 of these exercises per workout session, depending on how much time I spend, which usually for me is 30 minutes. And yes, eventually I may up the time, you know, and this is something you can play with. But this is basically how I do it. A 30-minute workout, really collectively 10 minutes of prepping and then kind of coming down afterwards with the cardio and the stretching and the cooling down and so forth. So really it's 20 minutes of these exercises. So anyway, I hope that's a help, and I do want to try to demonstrate most of these exercises to you over time, and just to explain also that these exercises, most of them, are exercises that I was using back in high school. This goes back to when I was maybe 16, 17, 18, 19, all the way up into my early 20s before I got lazy. And these exercises worked at that time. I was always skinny as a rail, but there's photos I've seen, I was skinny, but I could see, I have washboard abs. And you could see there was like a little bit of a six-pack trying to form there. It wasn't, I was puny, but you could tell those abs were halfway decent, could have been better. But I'll try to post a picture of that too. But anyway, that's a kind of a rundown of the exercises. Hope that helps and hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Thank you.